Hello, world. It's Berto Pry 5, Qapla, and welcome to Church Life for Sunday, December 27th, 2020. And just give me a minute to send out a tweet or two, since we are doing this on the Berto Pray 5X channel. I actually have to get the link to my own stream. Come on. YouTube, don't fail me now. There we go. And the question is, has Anti-Tracker forsaken us? Because he is not streaming yet. Unfortunately. Fortunately, he has not forsaken us, I guess we'd say. Unfortunately, he has no internet still due to the explosion that happened in Nashville on Christmas Day morning. He has AT&T for home internet, and he is still out. We don't know when he'll be restored. Hopefully sometime today, but nobody's really sure. Let's tweet this out. Church Life is live now on Bird Oh Pray 5X. There we go. We'll tweet that out. Now, I know Captain Track was streaming, probably still is streaming, and that is all good and fine. If anybody prefers a kind of group conversation, head on over to Captain Trek's channel. But I did tell people I would do Church Life, and so I figured that I should do Church Life, even if no one shows up. So here we are. In the spirit of Anti-Tracker, we will talk about some religion, I guess. Now, what I've got for us today is, let me add it to the stream. Share screen, upper tab, random Bible verse. Here we go. Random Bible verse. We can click through it. Oh, welcome, Joseph Patrick. Father Bird, bless you, and to you, Joseph. Blessed be future man, for he can see the future. So, let's see, what is this random Bible verse from the King James Bible? This is from the book of Psalm 38:9, 38:9, the book of Psalm. Lord, all my desire is before thee, and my groaning is not hid from thee. What does this mean to you? Well, Psalm is probably my favorite book of the Bible after Ecclesiastes. And I'd say that they're telling you that the Lord, you should not hide your desires, be honest with the Lord, but also don't hide your, your complaints, your groaning, your bitching. It's okay. You got to tell the Lord how you feel, or put it this way, the Lord already knows how you feel. You don't have to tell him, I suppose. Either way, he knows the good and he knows the bad. So when you're thinking like, oh my God, nobody feels as terrible as I do right now, nobody's as depressed as I am right now, no one knows the pain I'm going through right now, it's not true. That's not true. The Lord knows, whether you tell him or not. That is what that verse means to me. Mountains of Elysium, Qapla says, Hail, bird of prey, God, Emperor of Karoga. And Mountains of Elysium says, Featherbird, Hail, glorious God, Emperor. Qapla, thank you. Thank you, my children. The Karogan Bible, it's still being restored. So I don't have it with me today. So we'll use the next best one that I could find online. Let's try another verse. Oh, with an image. Oh, awesome. Okay. Mark 16:16. He said, "Oh, he that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he shall believeth not shall be damned." So he that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. I guess whether baptized or not. You need to be both baptized and believe to be saved, but to be damned, you need only not believe. So it would appear bad news for anybody who doesn't believe. This would say that you are damned. Unlike the American slang term or phrase, damned if you do, damned if you don't, this is telling me that, in fact, you are only damned if you don't believe. Take that how you will. I know some people don't believe it, but that's your choice to make. Alexander Brooks, Qapla, Alexander Brooks, welcome. And Mountains of Elysium says, greetings to the mother of the emperor, Mamo Prey 5. Thank you, Mountains. Captain Trax says, bird of prey, to answer the question, the answer is yes. Qapla, Captain Track. Mountains of Elysium says, greetings to Ciso Prey and Nephew of Prey. Thank you, Mountains. I'm not sure if they're here. I mean, I know they're not here. I highly doubt they're watching this morning. But thank you anyway. Mamo Prey, you received some greetings from Mountains of Elysium. Aberjam, Qapla says, good morning, brothers and sisters. Mountains of Elysium says, greetings to Sassy, chaser of cats, eater of cookies, stalker of cardinals, defiler of cushions, and scourge of the squirrels. Aroo! Absolutely. Orville Nation. Good morning, Orville Nation. You need a wrench on this channel, Orville Nation. Welcome. And Joseph is baptized. Matthew, you're baptized. You're baptized to name Matthew. Is that your baptism name? Is that a thing? I think it is. Good for you. I was baptized as well. Technically, never confirmed. But sort of snuck past the line and did receive communion when I was in the hospital, and things weren't looking good. The priest just gave me that dry cracker. Professor Brainy Specs says, good morning, Bird of Prey 5 Qapla. Professor Brainy Specs. Orville Nation. Oh, Professor Brainy Specs, he needs his wrench back. Yes, wrenched. And Orville, I was telling everybody earlier and yesterday that tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the Peach and Deed show, with me perhaps as a panelist, will be. Sorry about that. We will be interviewing Sirach Lofton and members of the Seventh Rule podcast, if that is still a thing, which I believe it was, since you tweeted about it recently. Yes, everyone, bring your questions for Jake Sisko, says Orville Nation. Awesome. I will. I will make sure my questions are respectful, uh, since you know I have some weird questions sometimes. Okay, so let's pick another verse. Let's say uh, King James version. Oh, what the heck happened? Where'd the pictures go? No. Okay, there we go. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Mark 10:45. What? For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, to give his life as a ransom for many. That sounds more like the Son of God. I think this might be a typo. I'm going to write this to the Pope. Maybe this maybe this needs a little fixing. Unless one of the Bible scholars out there and can make some sense of that one for me. Professor Brady Speck says, Bird of Prey, did Andy Tricker tell you what to say this morning? No, no. The only thing he said was nothing yet, when asked if there was any internet. And then I asked him specifically about church life, and he didn't respond yet. But after 9 o'clock came and went, I assumed he just wasn't going on. If he does go on, great. I will shut down the stream and move over there. Okay. I don't think this. I'm pretty sure this is a typo. We'll go on to the next one. Uh, okay. Anytime you want to refresh. Oh, this is the Bible verse of the day. Uh, okay, but I just want a random verse. Oh, there it is. There it is. A random verse. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Isn't this? Oh, Matthew 5:10. Isn't this the one where they say, "Blessed are the poor because of this and whatnot"? Kind of, always sounded to me a lot of words to kind of make the poor and the weak feel comforted and not try to, you know, rise up and take power from those in charge. I'm just saying, it seems like a very convenient verse. If it's not, I'm not questioning. I am not questioning the Lord. I'm just saying, isn't it very convenient that the poor and the weak are going to inherit, the earth or whatever? That just it's like maybe they can go to those people who like get cash now, like, and they can trade in some of that for some cash now, a little part of earth now. Professor Brittany Speck, no, he didn't. Amber says Mark 10:45, Son of God, refers to Jesus. Yeah, but he didn't say Son of God. It said Son of Man. If it said Son of God, I'd understand. Maybe it's just that translation of the Bible. They translate God to man. I don't know. If it said Son of God, okay, Son of Man. You corrected yourself. So Son of Man refers to Jesus. Well, how can he be the Son of Man and the Son of God? Uh, it's weird, but it makes more sense. Thank you, Aberjan. Professor Brainy Specs is bird of prey. Aberjam is correct. Son of Man does refer to Jesus. Well, then pick one, man. Moxley fan, Qapla says hello, bird Qapla, Moxley fan. Hello, you all. Yes, welcome. Aberjam says the first doesn't say you have to be weak. It says that you will be blessed even if you are. Ah, well, so it's still better to be rich since you will be blessed as well. Oh, you don't have to be poor. Good. Maybe I was mistaken. Okay. Random verse. His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." Matthew 25:21. His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." So that's basically how our business works. You get you work your way up the corporate ladder. You do one thing right, they put you in charge of a group of people. You become middle management, and you get a share of your master, aka the business's happiness. I'm pretty sure that's what they meant, and not actual, you know, master slave relationship. Haberjam says Son of Man was one of Jesus's favorite titles for himself because it reminds us of his humanity. Man refers to mankind since he was born to the human race. Ah, well, so Jesus likes to call himself Son of Man, but we humans call him Son of God. Okay. Okay, that's not confusing in the least. Oh, another picture. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. 1 John 1:9. What the fuck? Excuse me. 1 John? Why is it not just John 1:9? Are there two books of John? Why does John get multiple books? Google, how many books of John are in the Bible? Church traditions held that John is the author of the Gospel of John and four other books. 3 epistles? 3 and epistles. I wonder how epistles are related to psalms of John and the book of Revelation. It's psalm. I heard Joe Biden say it. It must be true. Thank you. Okay, so I guess John's got 3 books and Revelation, but Revelation has its own name. So, who wrote the first, second, and third John? Letters of John, abbreviated John, 3 New Testament writings, all composed sometime around 100 CE, and traditionally attributed to Saint John the Apostle, son of Zebedee. What the hell type of name is Zebedee? How does someone with the name Zebedee have a son named John? Like, what's your child's name should be? Zebedee? I don't know. Let's do something a little easier to pronounce than Zebedee. Let's just call him John. What was the mother's name? Anyway, Zavidi was a disciple of Jesus. The author of the first letter is not identified, but the writer of the second and third calls himself uh, presbyter or elder. So we don't know who wrote the book of John. Wow. Well, we'll just call it John then. I understand now. It makes complete sense. Um, Abijam says Jesus is both the Son of God and the Son of Man because his body was the product of God's creation in a human womb. Yeah, yes, this I remember. Professor Brainy Speck says this is the most interesting church life ever, and Abijam is enjoying it. Well, it's really in God's hands since we're doing random verses. So I'd say if you don't like it, you know who to blame. Not me. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. Genesis 1:29. See, I even could identify what book of the Bible that was in. Yes. So I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seeds in it. They will be yours for food, which means you are committing a sin if you eat seedless fruit. God did not give you fruit without seeds. He specifically says in this verse, it has to have seeds in it. Also, the plants have to be seed bearing. If the plants don't have seeds, they're not yours to eat. Okay, so parsley off the dinner menu. I'm not kidding about this. This is legit stuff. God told us what food we can eat and not eat, and the fruits have to have seeds. The plants have to have seeds. If there's no seeds, no good for you. I think that goes all without saying. It's the most easy to understand Bible verse ever. Professor Brainy Speck says, wow, and Orville Nation has called me Reverend Berto Prey. Thank you, Orville Nation. I am actually a ordained emissary in, I think it was the Church of Humanists. So I am able to perform marriages. So if you'd like to marry somebody, I'd be happy to perform the service. I think I can probably just do it online. I don't think there's technically anything that says I have to be there in person. Professor Brady Speck says, Bird of Prey, does it really say it's a sin to eat seedless fruits? Well, it doesn't say it's a sin to eat seedless fruits, but it says that they're not yours. So since stealing is a sin, then therefore, via the transference principle of algebra, it is a sin. Because you're sinning by stealing something that doesn't belong to you. Professor Brady Speck says, Bird of Prey, oh, and thank you for the wrenchy. You're welcome. Average says, if you thought Catholic priests were bad, you should have seen what Carogan priests get up to. Wow. With image. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Matthew 5:44. Man, Matthew seemed to have a lot to say. A lot of these have been from Matthew. So love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Pray for their, no, I'm not going to say. It doesn't say what to pray for. It just says pray for those who persecute you. I'm not suggesting you pray for vengeance or anything, but there is a picture of a snake for some reason with this. So pray for Satan. Is that what this is telling me? Pray for Satan. I suppose. If you consider Satan your enemy. It says, love your enemy. Oh, love Satan. And pray for those who persecute you. If Satan's not persecuting me, then I don't need to pray for him, but I do need to love enemies. So that's it's it's complicated. It's complicated. Professor Brainishbeck says it doesn't say that seedless fruit isn't ours. So isn't that making an assumption, Professor? Don't question. Don't question the church. Aberdam says, yeah, that's a tough one. It says to love your enemies, so the prayer should be a loving one. But just because somebody persecutes you doesn't make them your enemy. What's that saying about love and hate, Mama Pray? Uh, but I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Yeah. Well, you can always ask forgiveness if you can't, follow every single rule. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Says John 14:1. I assume that's Jesus speaking. So don't let your hearts be troubled. You can believe in me. Me being, I assume, Jesus, and not me being Berto Pray 5. But if it prefer to believe in Berto Pray 5, either way, don't let your heart be troubled. Professor Brady Specs wants to throw a challenge flag. Where do you think you are? The football stadium of some sort? No, there's no challenge in church. You don't get the challenge in church. Aberdam says, so you're saying that Turdistanius aren't your enemy, Bird? They're not my enemy. They're their own enemy. 47 Yorktown says, bless you, young sir. Bless you. Bless you, my son. I assume you sneezed. What do we got? What do we got here? Come on. Daddy needs some good wisdom. Come on. Here we go. All the believers were one in heart and mind. No one claimed that any of their possessions was their own, but they shared everything they had. Acts 4:32. Son of a bitch, commies. There's commies in the Bible. No, this is not going in the Korogan Bible. I don't want to hear any commie talk coming from the Bible. I thought we did away with this stuff. Damn it, King James. All the believers were one in heart and mind. No one claimed that any of their possessions were their own, but they shared everything they had. Not in this country. Sorry, not sorry. Let's move on. An Acts. That doesn't even sound like a name of the Bible. Acts. Acts. I never even heard of that book. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain, like one from whom people hide their faces. He was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Isaiah 53:3. Now, that's one I think I can identify with. Isaiah. Aberjam says Cantilly Christians are called to challenge everything they hear to make sure it's correct. Actually, Christians are called to challenge everything they hear to make sure it's correct. Okay, Professor, it looks like you found a loophole. Professor says, bird of prey, let's find some rich believers and we can share what they have. I agree. I
was just thinking when you said that I wouldn't mind sharing some of Nancy Pelosi's Sub-Zero refrigerators filled with that really expensive ice cream.
maybe she'll share.
Maybe she'll send one over. She's got at least two.
Aberjam says that verse is actually about Bird of Prey 5. Yeah, it is. It's about all of us. And sometimes in our lives, we feel despised, rejected by mankind. We are suffering and familiar with pain, like one whom people hide their faces. He was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Every person's journey in life. At some point, they feel they are that man. I don't know if Nancy Pelosi's a believer, Professor. Just saying, if she was, she'd share her ice cream with Mama Prey.
Oh, I want the refrigerator.
Oh, do you want the refrigerator and the ice cream?
$10.
Oh, an $11,000 refrigerator.
That's the face price.
Okay, this is a depressing verse. Come on, big money, big money, big money. Ezra 8:23. So we fasted and petitioned our God about this, and he answered our prayer. Holy crap. Is that what you got to do to get your prayer answered? Is just fast? So we fasted and petitioned our God about this, and he answered our prayer. Does anybody else know about this? Because I've never in my life heard that if you want your prayer answered, you should fast. Mama Pray, did they teach that to you?
No.
No, maybe this is the problem. Also, for some reason, the picture here is of a thorny, I assume it's a rose bush, with the roses haven't, grown yet, but the thorns have. Whatever it is, it's a thorny bush. So we fasted and petitioned our God about this, and he answered our prayer. So Ezra 8:23. Ezra's got your info, your answer. Abijam says the next verse talks about his hospital bed and his underlying love for Nicole DeBoer. Yeah, probably did. Professor Brainy Specs says, Brother Pray, this is more church oriented than what we normally get on Church Life. I know. I do Church Life better. It's okay. Abijam says Pelosi says she's a believer. She doesn't much act like one. Professor Brainy Specs says Aberjam, exactly. That's what I was thinking. And Orville Nation says, Father Joe, will you hear our confessions? Yes. Yes. In fact, I'm going to put out the link for anyone who wants to make a confession. Now, they're supposed to be anonymous. So if you don't want to use your real name, that's fine. I will bring up people one at a time for confession. if you're interested. If you come up and I don't, someone else is already talking to me, then just wait your turn. I will get to you, and we will hear confessions. I cannot disguise my voice, Professor, but you know, maybe maybe it won't be me giving the confessions, but maybe it'll be Ozzy O'Prey. Oi, I can give confessions down here in Australia. We confess to everything. Eating dingo meat, it's confession. Right? Every time you hit a roo with your car, you gotta go to confession. Nah, nobody has anything to confess. Ah, you see, we're all great people. I'm not surprised. 18 people watching, another confession among you. That's good. I look at this as a triumph. So okay, so we are done with our confession portion of the stream. So let's do a panel discussion. If anybody wants to come up and discuss any religious topics, come on up, and we can discuss some religion if you're inclined. If not, we can go back to just doing some Bible verses for a few more minutes. Whatever you guys want to do. Good morning, Richie Poole, Qapla. Yeah, you missed our morning Bible verses. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you a little bit from the Broken Bible. We'll start in Genesis. Genesis? Yes, Genesis. Krogan Bible. It's pretty similar to Earth Bible. God says, "Let there be light," and He sees Karoga, and Karoga was good, and He creates all the animals and the plants and the fish in the sea. But He actually He creates the first man, and the first man is actually named Bob, not Adam. And Bob was like a big, strong man. He built things, cut down trees, a bunch of manly things. And he got bored one day and he stopped doing anything. And God is like, what's the matter? You're not doing any manly stuff. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm all alone down here. Oh, God put him to sleep. He removed a rib, which then grew back because that's how manly Bob was. And he used the rib to fashion the first woman of Karoga, whose name was not Eve, but Doris. So Bob and Doris were the first humans in Karoga, and it was a beautiful, beautiful paradise. And it remained so for a long, long, long time until Satan, disguised as a turd, slithered down a tree, and Doris is like, "Oh my God, what's this disgusting brown stuff coming off the tree?" Like, "Bob, you didn't poop in a tree again, did you? You didn't poop in the tree of knowledge?" And Bob's like, "No, woman, I didn't poop in no tree of knowledge." So Doris was confused, looked at it, and the thing started talking. It was a talking turd. And it said, God don't want you to eat this fruit because it's seedless. It's seedless apple tree. And she's like, I know. God said, don't eat the seedless fruit. But the turd says, yeah, but what if God just meant, it was okay to eat the seeded apples, but it wasn't technically wrong to eat seedless apples, pitless apples, if you will. And she's like, I don't even think there are apples in Karoga. I think these are pomegranates. And the turd is like, shut up. He left. He came back the next day, did this over again. He's like, I don't care what this fruit's called. You should eat it. And Doris is like, no, F you, you stupid turd. And she stepped on it. And she got turd on her foot. So they had to go wash it off in the old watering hole. The next day, turd's back again. This time, Doris fashioned what would become the first hockey stick and just like power played it right clear out the garden of Karoga and across the county line to I don't know, some far off county. Anyway, so eventually the turd returned hard, dry, like a rock. Couldn't be kicked, couldn't be squished. And fine. Listen, he's like, I will give you $50 if you eat this here fruit. And Doris is like, oh shit, $50 is $50. So she bit into the fruit. And God got pissed. He's like, what you doing? She's like, I don't know. $50 is $50. This talking turd here told me to eat the fruit. He's like, you idiot. Like, you're not supposed to eat the fruit. I told you don't eat the fruit. The fruit's supposed to only eat fruit with seeds. And Doris is like, but $50 is $50. God was so disappointed. He's like, because you ate the fruit with the no seeds and you listened to a stupid talking turd, I'm going to create a country called Turdistan. And they are forever going to be a thorn in your side. And with that, God created Turdistan. And he took the poop, he banished it to Turdistan, and he created it. And he said, you will be the leader of Turdistan. And it will be Karoga's holy mission to exterminate you. But it will take thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But one day, Karoga will banish Turdistan, and then at that time, God will return, and there will be peace on earth. Any questions? No, not Bob Biden or Bob the Builder. Orville, Resolute says, this is the part we came for. Orville Nation is lowly and Professor Brainy Specs. Joseph says, you shall not pass. What Bible is that? That is the Bible of that English guy whose name eludes me at the moment. Aberjam says, what's the name of the god of Karoga? It's just God. Richie Poole says Bob the Builder. Bob Biden says Aberjam. No. Josh Reed says, end is here. The Church of Karoga has taken over. Aberjam says, hi, I'm Bob Biden. I'm Bob Biden's husband. No. It is Bob and Doris, not Bob and Rob. Okay? Richie Poole says, are Bob and Doris naked during all this? Of course they're naked. They had no shame. Nothing to hide. Aberdam says Darish washed the turd off her feet in the water supply. A water supply. A water supply. Yeah, but it's upstream, downstream from where they get the drinking water. Professor Brainy Speck says this is so messed up. I'm sorry that you find this difficult. Aberdam says Richie Poole. Doris is. I've seen the pictures. She looks a lot like Nicole DeBoer. Anti-Tracker just went live or posted something. What did he do? Oh, he posted a video. He says church life, no church life. Let me share the video with you guys. How are we gonna do that? We'll put this here. Put the volume up because it seems like you guys don't hear it if I don't put the volume up. And oh, we got somebody in the back. Welcome. Is that you, Professor? Professor, is that you?
I've come a long way for the power.
That's not Professor Brainy Speck.
That is me.
It is
Bird.
Brainy Speck.
That is me.
Well, we got this whole white background thing going on.
Yeah, I know. That's, God's purity and power.
Oh, okay. Purity and power. I gotcha. So let's.
Is that better?
That is better.
Okay.
I understand now. Let's take this little second to see what it is that. And we've got Darren Wagner. Qapla.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's just see what Anti-Tracker would like us all to know today.
Good morning, Darren.
Good morning.
Here's a short video. Oh,
Yeah,
and
no,
I forgot to hit audio. I forgot to play the audio, didn't I? Okay. Stop screen. Got to reshare the screen. Opera tab. Share audio. Church life. No church life. Okay.
Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Tracker here. And I'm sure most of you know by now that a couple of days ago here in the greater Nashville area, there was a incident. I know that they're refusing to call it the T word because they're afraid people might freak out, but that's really what it was. Someone attacked the AT&T building in downtown Nashville. And as a result of this attack, unfortunately, anybody who has AT&T for their home internet, which would include myself, have no internet. Still, here we are a couple of days later, still nothing. I'm kind of curious as to why is it, though, that we didn't lose internet for some 4 hours after the attack, but that's a whole other can of worms that I'm sure someone will unpack or come up with a conspiracy theory for soon. Anyway, so unfortunately, this also has an effect of putting a big strain on the local cellular system. So I can't really effectively live stream. I tried and I kept losing connections. So can't really do a church life today. The good news is that the church that I personally attend, I'm assuming they don't have AT&T because they did, in fact, stream their services last night. And so what I will do is put a link in the description below for Pastor Corey's services from last night, which we were attending. Very, very good message. If you are a Christian, I hope you take it to heart because he says some rather tough things about what our behavior is compared to what a Christian should behave like. And so I encourage you to check that out. I'm sure that by this time next week, things will be back to normal as far as internet is concerned. At least I hope so. We got work to consider too. Anyway, guys, take care. And if I'm able to live stream tonight, I'll do a live stream tonight. But as of right now, I got nothing.
Take care, Anti-Tracker. He is sure he'll be back on by next week. Things like that, predictions like that, never blow back in anybody's faces. So, yeah. Here is that link he said that he put in if anybody wants it to his church's stream. And Professor Karen, what are you guys up to today?
Go ahead, Professor.
I'm just here enjoying this rather unique church life. Thank you, Bird.
You're welcome. I figured somebody should do it.
I'm taking off here in probably about 2 hours to go participate in my family's Christmas celebration. We didn't do it on the days prescribed because of scheduling conflicts. So today I'm heading over there to participate in that. So.
Very cool. So today is your Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Resolute says no plug joke. To be honest, Resolute, I'm not 100% sure he knows I'm doing church life. As he says, his cell phone service is spotty at best, and I'm not sure he even got the message that because he never replied to it. So it's very possible he didn't get the text. I wouldn't worry about there was no plug. Professor, I read that earlier. What do we got? Aberjam says Richie Poole. Doris says I've seen. Oh, right. Nicole DeBoer. Richie says Doris sounds hot. Well, she was the only woman there was, so she was the hottest woman alive. Aberjam says that's why she took her clothes off. I don't believe in your God, Bird. He lets the world suffer. I can't disagree. Part of the world, at least. Big part.
So does your drill instructor in boot camp, but he still cares about you. Sorry.
Some of us never went to boot camp.
Well, right, I understand, but I mean the idea being that the suffering that we endure is all part of a maturation process and a test, essentially. Some people seem to get worse tests than others, but it's well what it amounts to.
If I'm not mistaken, you can. Unless it's a draft, you could walk out at some point if you so chose.
Well, that was an analogy.
Gotcha.
That's all that was. That was a specific analogy for the idea that somebody who allows someone else to suffer doesn't care about them.
I gotcha. I would just say that does the analogy hold true when the person suffering has no choice in the matter?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say it does. Most of the suffering we have, a lot of the suffering, at least, you don't have much of a choice in,
Okay. I guess that's one way to look at it.
Well, how would you look at it, Bird?
Well, I'm just saying for an analogy, I can't equate the two because one is somebody's there by choice, and in the real world, generally, we're not.
Well, nobody who joins the military wants to go to boot camp, but that is the necessary requirement.
I understand that, but if you could skip it, I understand you would, but you can't.
Right. Well, yeah,
but you could always choose not to go into the military.
you could.
You
Yes,
know,
it
at
is
least
true.
in the United States
It is
in
true.
2020.
Yeah.
For the last, I don't know, 40 years, 50 years,
Mhm.
you didn't have to go into the military.
Right.
Now, I suppose when a draft is going on, then yes, you kind of, it would be a better analogy. But
Yeah, you're stuck.
Mhm.
having never lived through a draft, thankfully, I don't know, it's harder for me to believe, except.
Same here, Bird.
But I see where you're going, Darren. I do. Richie Poole says troll. I guess it wasn't a troll. It was Jeff. Professor. Excuse me, Professor. Aberjam says an atheist, a Christian, and a flat earther walk into a bar. Wow.
Wow.
No, Bird, you can call me Jeff. The only one that can't is Kronos.
Oh, thank you. Richie Poole's lulls. It says hang in there, anti-trekker. Hopefully he's keeping himself busy. He said he could work on his garage and stuff.
Well, he can work
he's
on
up in his office.
He can work on making videos. That's what you should be doing at this point. He just can't upload them until he. Yeah, I mean, unless of course he needs the internet in order to obtain clips and things. Obviously, that is.
That's true too. Although, let's see, a lot of his stuff he's probably got on hard copy, like Star Trek and whatnot for older stuff. I wonder, could I make a video? I could do a video without the internet, but it would be damn more difficult not having sound effects and small graphics and whatnot.
Yeah. It'd be a talkie. I could do too, but it would be one of my normal talkie slideshow things with images that I already have. But then, I could do that. But it's.
Hey, Bird,
he had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Where do you get your music and sound effects and things? I'm curious.
Generally, I have the same epidemic sound that Anti-Trekker uses.
Okay.
So I have access to the same music he does. And then there's also the YouTube library, which has, free stuff. I try to avoid the YouTube library because they've been known to delist things, and then even though you used it and it was free at the time, later they find out they didn't really have the rights to it, and then you're the one who's shit out of luck.
Wow.
So I try to avoid that. Now the problem I'm having with Epidemic Sound, and honestly the reason why I didn't even play the intro today, is because my countdown intro has music. But Epidemic Sound allows you to associate one YouTube account, one Facebook account, one whatever accounts. But Bird of Prey 5X is a separate account. So I've forgotten more than once that I technically don't have the right to use that song on Bird of Prey 5X channel. And as soon as I upload the video, I get a content match, which is not the biggest problem in the world. It's not that they block the video. They just put advertising on it. And I'm like, damned in hell if I'm going to let them advertise on a video that, doesn't get any advertising. So I usually just mute the song after if I forgot to do it, I mute the song. Today, I just remembered not to even play the opening. And what I think I'm going to do is record a second opening without music. So I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Jeff?
So if you had the commercial account, could you do it to both channels or use it for both channels?
I don't know how many limits their commercial account has.
I think the commercial account is like an outrageous amount of money per month.
Right.
Too.
Yeah, it's $49 opposed to $15.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not quite outrageous, but still pretty high.
Yeah, I would look to see. Certainly have to ask how many channels. I didn't I didn't check up with anybody. In fact, I probably could say, see if there's some way to add a second YouTube channel. It's just not something you can do by default. And there's so many new sites coming up, streaming sites like BitChute. I mean, there's no way to authorize my BitChute account. It plays it. Nobody complains. Dee Myers, Qapla Dee Myers. Says Qapla Berto Pray, hope you and the family are feeling well, having a wonderful Sunday so far. I've been pretty good, decent, Dee.
I'm looking at the Epidemic Sound site. For the personal account, you can add a channel per platform. So if there's a new platform that they allow you to broadcast, the music on, you could do it there too.
Right, like I can add a Twitch
license.
Yeah, I could add. Like I think I added my Twitch, my YouTube, and my Facebook. Now there's a lot of platforms they don't even have listed yet, and might never have listed. But to put a second YouTube channel is just not something they offer.
Right.
Richie Poole says, "Why can't we all be naked, running around in a beautiful garden for all eternity?" Well, a lot of people of us live in cold places, Richie, and there's a lot of people out there I don't want to see naked. To be quite frank about it.
I think that was a reference to the Garden of Eden.
In fact, half the people in the world, for one, and then probably 2/3 of the rest, I don't particularly want to see naked. Resolute Germ says you can walk out on God's test too. No, you can't. Not really. Aberdam says, well, we are being droughted because we are stuck in spiritual war. That's what life is. Droughted? What the hell is droughted? I've never heard of that term. Mountains of Elysium says, what is the best free software to clip Netflix and Amazon? I can clip the sound, but the image is blank. I don't think there's free software. If there is, I'm not aware of it. There probably is somewhere, but I don't know of it. There is software called Play On, but it costs money. And it's also a bit shady. Like you have to give them your Netflix account and your whatever account, Amazon account. So I really hesitate to do that. But it did work for CBS All Access in the early days of Discovery. It let me download Discovery so I could then edit it. Now, the problem with it is that it adds at the beginning and end of the clip your name and your IP address as a way to prevent you from uploading that video and sharing it. Like they don't want you to share the video. But if you have basic video editing skills, you can cut off that front and end of it, of course, which is what I guess most people do when they share. It's also very slow, but it is called Play On, and it costs money, and it's shady as hell. What Anti-Tracker says he does is he just records it using XSplit. He has to play it on a monitor, and you've got to be recording, and the computer can't be making any other noises, and you can record the audio and the video via XSplit. So that should work, but I've never tried it. I just download the video from YAR, and then I just cut, even if I only need a minute or two of it. Well, okay, if I need a minute or 30 seconds, first I search YouTube, because probably, like if it's from say DS9 or something, more likely than not, somebody already has the DS9 clip up. So I can just download it from YouTube using 4K downloader, which is free, and then cut it to what I need. But if I need like more than that, I'll download the episode and then cut it down to what I need using video editing software or whatever. Drafted. There you go. Sorry. Thank you, Aperjam. Drafted. Aperjam, the bird is having issues with his opening only on this channel. Aperjam says drafted to you poorly educated Americans. I don't think it's a poor education that's the problem. Resin says Firefox gets around the problem. Use a different. Oh, for it being blank. Oh. Yeah, I guess if you use a different browser, it might prevent it from blanking. Richie Poole says, Bird, you have to remember that those in the UK spell words funny. Karoga Knights, Viva Karoga. All Karogan orphans go to Stovacor. Sure they do. And let's see what we got here. Aperjam says properly, Richie Poole. The word you're looking for is properly. They spell words properly. I agree to disagree. For one thing, you add a U to a lot of random words that don't need it, like color, right?
Yeah.
You spell tire with a Y for some reason. You don't even use the right word for elevator or gasoline. You've just made up nonsense sounds and called them words.
They also have a tendency, I've noticed, to pronounce R's where none exist.
R.
Yeah, like spatula and stuff like that.
There's no R in spatula?
Well, no, it's spatula, but they put an R in. They put an R in there.
You sure there's no R in spatula?
There's no R in spatula.
Spatula City. Daniel's Hot Topics is Bird of Prey. Good morning, Bird. How are you this morning? Did you have a Merry Christmas? I'm doing good, Daniel. I had a Christmas. Aperjam says we spell tire with a Y to differentiate from tire, meaning to get exhausted. Oh, right, because that's the one word you need to differentiate from. All the other words that are spelled the same, you don't have to differentiate from.
I do have one thing to say about how with the Europeans, like the UK, one of the things they do that I think the United States should adopt. I know it's shocking. The last letter of the alphabet over there is called Z to them, and I actually think that's a good idea because we have a lot of letters that phonetically sound similar. B, C, D, E, T, and Z is just another one. Z at least lowers that by one to so phonetically, like when I'm trying to spell things out for people on the phone, I can't use the colloquial alphabet. I have to use like the military alphabet in order to make sure they understand what letter I'm telling them to put in.
And Z is the one that causes the problem?
Well, Z is just one more that because the military designation for the letter Z is Zulu, and I end up having to use that. But yeah, it's a minor thing. I mean, I don't like their roundabouts. I don't like their their metric system, but I do like their Z. So.
Richie Poole says Z is just another weird UK thing. Aperjam says we spelled. I read that. I don't have a problem with Z. It's like calling 0 naught to me. It doesn't really make a difference. Although in Stargate ZPM, that was something. That was something. Average Jim says, Darren, absolutely. I can't tell you how much it pisses me off when people mispronounce zebra. Zebra. Richie Poole, plus they drive on the wrong side of the road. They do.
Yeah,
That they do.
I can't forgive him for that.
No, they're trying to kill people.
Okay, well, we're going to look at one more Bible verse, and then we're going to call it church life, because I do have two more streams going on today. I have Futurama at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then at 6:30 on Orville Nation, we'll be interviewing Sirach Lofton and
Wow.
Seventh Rule podcast people.
Outstanding. Ask him about that awful shirt that he wore on the TV guide cover. He likes that
TV
story.
guide cover. Okay.
Yeah.
I
thought it was a cool shirt. But, he didn't like it, so.
Yeah, Bird, prepare for the interview, will you? I mean, yesterday you admitted that you're not preparing.
I mean, there was a lot of neat things that Sirach Lofton said in the documentary that we all have seen now about how Avery Brooks would, act like a father figure outside the set for him as well, and used to introduce him as one of his children to other people when they would go to ball games and things.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that was probably most of my questions are going to be Avery Brooks related.
Yeah,
but not in a way to insult Sirach, but his take on it.
The thing that I like about Jay Sisko is he was like the anti-Wesley Crusher. We kind of expected him to just naturally going to join Starfleet, and stuff, because that's kind of what we'd seen before a bit with Wesley. Wesley didn't make it, of course, or at least he did later on. But for him to say rather early on that he really doesn't have an interest in a career in Starfleet was really interesting, that he wasn't going to follow through with, be like his dad and try to make a career out of that organization.
Yeah, I mean, he was honestly like the first kid we saw who didn't want to join Starfleet.
Right. And then, of course, that opened up for the most unlikely guy. I mean, you got to remember, I think in TNG, Wesley ended up not graduating the academy. I mean, later on in the movies, I guess they showed him in uniform. But Nog, of all people, the most unlikely, ended up fulfilling that role that everybody, I think, expected Jake to fulfill early on. But yeah, it's amazing to me when I look at that, because Jake Sisko, of course, was one head shorter than Sisko when the series started, and by the end of it, he was a full head taller than Sisko. That guy was grew like a weed.
And Orville Nation says, bring your questions. Everyone will be taking questions from the chat. So it's your Christmas today, Darren.
Yeah, I won't be there, unfortunately, but I'll watch it if you've got it stored after the fact.
Bird, he actually says we will be taking cues from the chat.
That is true. He said cues from the chat.
Cues are going to be out in the chat?
Apparently.
Wow.
See, the guy I'd like to talk to myself on one of these chats is J.G. Hertzler, because I'd like to tell him my Soldiers of the Empire story from Trepang. I think he might get a little kick out of that. But, yeah.
Yeah, he probably would. That's a good story, Darren.
Richie Poole says, ask Jake to put in a good word with Nicole for you, Bird. Aberjam says, a proper choice of words there, Germ. Appropriate choice of words, I assume he means. Aberjam says, Captain Track, one can only suffer so much. Oh, Captain Track says, I will not be watching this stream, but I hope it goes well. I think Captain Track is not a fan of Jake Sisko. Yeah, he can't stand the character. He can't stand Jake Sisko, which is, I don't know, it's kind of weird to me. So here is our final random Bible verse. Our help is in the name of the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. A Psalm 124:8. So our help is in the name of the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. So I would say that that verse means pretty much what it says. Kind of a boring verse.
Sounds pretty
Anyone
powerful
disagree?
to me.
Powerful. You get power out
Yeah.
of that. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're asking for help in the name of the Lord. I mean, maybe if I knew what came before and after.
Well, context is everything.
Yeah.
I heard context is for kings. I'm a god emperor.
Careful there.
Okay, let's try one more. Very rarely will anyone die for a righteous person. Though for a good person, someone might possibly dare to die. But God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:7-8. Yeah, well, that's also not a lot of deconstructing there. Cabinet Drax hates Jake, wanted the Power Wraith to kill him. Oh, man, Captain.
Now,
Dan's not-
Captain, we shouldn't be hating even fictional people. Come on.
That's right. You should be praying for him. Praying and loving.
Precisely.
That's what we learned earlier in the stream, Captain. Daniel's Hot Topics is Jerry Ryan tweets that Picard Season 2 will start filming in February 1st, 2021. And I hear Jake Sisko may be in Picard Season 2, along with other DS9 people. I guess it's something we're going to have to ask about. I'm sure he won't be able to answer. But
Yeah, I'm sure he'll reveal everything.
let's just say if we don't ask, it probably means because we asked ahead of time and he said he can't talk about it.
Well, write it down, Bird. Make sure you don't forget.
I won't forget that. And Captain Trax says he prayed the character would die. And with that, I think we're going to call it a church life. Before we go, Professor, anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, Bird, for doing this. I'm sure Anti-Trekker, once he finds out that you have, he'll be appreciative. And thank you for bringing me up, and we'll see you later.
You're welcome. Darren.
Be prepared for any Trekker to sue you for the rights to use church life. I'm just kidding. Thank you for doing this. It's church life isn't something I regularly participate in. It's like a on again, off again thing. But it's nice that you showed him that a gap was felt by his absence this week due to the lack of internet. So that was very touching. Alrighty.
You are all welcome, and you are all forgiven.
Wow.
Well, I'm just saying, you're forgiven by Kuroga.
Okay.
I can only speak from me. Okay.
Okay, that means a lot, Bird. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Bird out.